What's up, guys? Welcome back to Rise to Elevate podcast for interview 130. I got Talucci's Bakery. I want to say who she is, but at the same time, it's not just her. It's a whole. It's a community. It's a family.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful. But bro, another clap. I got it. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great. Can you introduce yourself for some people who may not know you? I know that you're basically the face of it, but I just feel like I just don't want to pinpoint out one person in this like contributing thing. Can you introduce everybody that's part of the community?
Yeah. So my name is Jacklyn Talucci, and then my husband, Charles Talucci, which is the chef. We do have 8 children. So they range from 23 to 8. Wow. That's Brooklyn, Braden.
That work with you, right?
Gavin. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So Brooklyn, Braden, Gavin. Those are going to be the 3 oldest. So they're there the most.
Wow.
And then we go down the line, and then we have Rocco and Landon, and then we have Lila and Piper.
I feel like that is like
Tanner,
a mother's dream come true.
Yeah.
To be able to run a successful business from scratch, and come up with some ways for your kids to be able to make an income, but also teach them structure and
absolutely.
discipline. Like I could go on. Like this interview is really different because I really do feel like you laid out everything to be like not perfect, but just to fit everything that you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people do business just for the money or to do it because they're trying to get out of whatever the situation is. I feel like with you guys, y'all already kind of had what you wanted, but you wanted more. And you did it, Am I wrong or?
I think we wanted more for the kids and the family.
Okay.
We did have everything, being me, I'm a corporate leader as well and work for a corporate company. And I've been doing that for years, over 10 years now. So it's not like we needed to do this. It's what we wanted to do. We wanted it to be fun and organic, and we did it. And we said, we're going to help the kids learn how to, work with the public and have jobs and learn how to open businesses. So they were in it from the beginning.
Okay.
From the time that we started, renovating everything to now. So they've been apart from all the way from the beginning.
What is like, and I want to dig into your, just how it all started, but just real quick, what's something that you've learned working with your kids so far?
Patience.
Yeah. How much patience do you have to learn?
More patience than you do if you're a mom that works, right, outside of the business. So, working with the kids, it's been... What we've had to do is learn how to separate business from family. Yeah. So that's been one thing that we've been really good at is being able to separate our family and our business.
Which some people like struggle with that.
Yeah.
And they don't even work with their kids.
Right.
So I can only imagine.
Like mom's your boss and your boss, right? In both perspectives. So the kids are really, really resilient to it. My thing is I want them to learn, and I just tell them if they follow me, I was successful in my career before, and I feel Charles was too. And Charles's dad being an Olympic chef, he really learned a lot from his dad and from a lot of people. So having the kids see something from nothing, and I don't know if anybody had ever been in the shop before we opened it, and nothing against the other business, but it definitely didn't look like what it does now.
Right.
So,
and I was there from the beginning. I was at the grand opening, and dude, I'm not gonna lie, I was really shocked. And I've been living in Somerville particularly since I've basically been born. I guess like 4 or 5.
Okay.
But just to see what you guys did and what you're doing now, I'm not lying to you guys. Like, I just feel like I caught you guys at the beginning. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I think the direction you guys are going in is beautiful. That's why I wanted to get you guys on, just to follow the journey. But most importantly, let's dig into what really matters. Who you are, the basics, where you from, and, kind of where you like represent the most.
Yeah. So I'm from Maine, a small town in Maine, and we always said the cows overpopulate the people. So my grandfather was a chicken farmer, and we grew up in a old farmhouse, and then I lived there for most of my life, and then I moved to Florida, and then I made it halfway back. They call us halfbacks. So I moved to South Carolina after I met Charles, and my adventures from my corporate side took me to South Carolina, downtown Charleston, to help another leader that I had, and then that's when I met my husband, and everything else is.
So like
Talucci's
growing up
Bakery.
in like the Maine part though, there wasn't no Talucci Bakery in sight at then, right?
No,
Obviously.
No.
So what was going on then? What was like the daily?
So my grandfather was legally blind, and I grew up very poor, so we didn't have much, but we had a lot of gardens that we had to maintain on a yearly basis, inside, outside. Are
you grateful for that? That's a thing that, growing up on a farm, that's not normal. I mean, it might be in South Carolina.
I don't know, not the kind of farm that we had. So my grandfather was really big into chicken farming, so he was one of the largest chicken farmers in that area for quite some time. And then the chicken barns burnt down, and then he kind of retired from that. And but we didn't have any heat other than wood, so we had to cut 15 cords of wood every year. So I would say we were worked, but I think that's where the work ethic comes from.
Going to school.
Going to school, we had to buy our own school clothes, but up there you started blueberry raking when you were 10, to be able to buy your school clothes. So that's one of the big things that I did was I started blueberry raking when I was 10, and that's how I was able to get the nice things.
Can you go in depth what blueberry raking is, just for some people?
So blueberry raking in Maine, a lot of the blueberries grow in trees in the south. In Maine, they actually grow in fields. There's a place called Union, Maine, and that's where they are. So you essentially, you have to meet the bus at the corner store, which is like this small town store in Albion, Maine, and you hop on the bus. It's about an hour drive, and you will get a metal blueberry rake that's about like 12 to 18 inches. But my brother used to actually take one, cut it in half, and then make it like 24 inches.
Wow! So he's they loved him probably.
Yeah. So it was I think it was 5 cents a pound. So you get 5-gallon buckets, and you'd be out there raking the blueberries.
That's discipline. That's like real how to get down and dirty in the field, though. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of times you think about farming, you think about just chickens and stuff. Like, no, if you're a farmer, you got to do. Oh,
absolutely.
There's more things behind the scene than people know.
My grandfather, he had 15 gardens, and even that we had to pick rocks. You had to always rotate your crops. You had to rototill, and you remember you're getting, back then when snow was really big up there, you were getting 10, 12, 14 feet a year. So you had to make sure that you had to.
You had to make ends meet. You know,
make ends meet. Did we? I ate a lot of deer meat. Let's just put it that way. We ate a lot of deer meat growing up because it was always, if someone hit a deer, my grandfather always wanted them to bring it to the house. So let's just say I ate a lot of roadkill.
Yeah, I was about to say, people would call that, No, I think that's still life, though.
That's the only thing I would eat.
Think about back then. Back then, it was just as probably worse.
Well, he would have us, we had 110 acres of land, and he would have us sharpen our ski poles springtime. They're called suckerfish, and we had a spring out back. We would take our bikes or our older 4-wheeler and drive it out back, and we would have friends start at the end of the stream, and then we would have friends at the front of the stream, and we would all go down there and we would spear the suckerfish, and we would throw them onto the side, and then you would take these big black trash bags and you would put all these suckerfish in there.
Yeah.
What do you think we did with them?
Ate them?
No, we would set them out in the sun so they would just disintegrate into the natural, organic to be able to feed the animal, to be able to feed the plants.
Wow.
Yeah, so fertilizer. So
dude, that's advanced fertilizer.
It smells so bad. I don't even know how we made it.
Because I know eggshells and stuff like that you can use.
We did that, and we also, another good one is stove ashes.
Yeah.
So so in everything we did, we cooked on was all wood. So if you wanted to cook a meal, you were cooking it, and you had to start the wood stove in the morning, putting the wood in there. So it's so funny when we go camping or we go to any Airbnbs that have a fire, I'm I'm starting it.
Yeah,
in
you
3
already
minutes.
know what to do.
So
and a lot of people
and all that.
Struggle starting fires. You know.
So being a alpha female, like I like to call myself, I think that came from my grandfather. I just think from a young age, but back then some people call it cruel. Nowadays people are sensitive.
Well, that's because we got internet, and the internet, everybody's entitled to an opinion.
I tend to find that yes, I do, especially I see that, but at the same thing, it was actually funny because we had a visit. Somebody had said that we were child laboring children.
What? Man,
our own children though end up being out, but somebody made an anonymous call or
if
complaint.
You don't have haters, then you're doing something wrong.
It was funny when they came to do that complaint, the actual person from the state said, you can work your kids 26 hours a day, which we don't do that, but
no, but they're just trying to emphasize
our kids
on
love being there. They love being with people. They love the aspect of being a part of something bigger, and I don't think people understand that even though we're there and we may not be home a lot, we're with our family. And how lucky are we to get up every day and be able to walk into a business that we are with our family?
As someone who's grown up with no mother, father figure, there should be no type of complaints from the kids or anybody. Because it's like, I would be grateful to be in their shoes. You know, I've seen the most heinous stuff that I shouldn't have seen at that age. Yeah. And it's like, there's no complaining. Like, okay, you're working. Yeah. What are you going to do after you get out of high school?
Right.
It's just more work, you know? Yeah. I get that there's the, you know, anyways, I do want to talk about just like middle school for you and high school. I know that you were on the farm and stuff like that. Yeah. What do you remember most about going to school? And it doesn't have to be pertaining to middle school.
Our graduating classes, I think it was like maybe 98. I got pregnant young. I was 16 when I got pregnant. I had my first child at 17. And then I had 3 kids by the time I was 20.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's some advice you can give to any other woman out there who's not just like, I want to say like struggling with the mother role, but just being able to be a great mother, you know, like a present mother.
Don't listen to people. Do it yourself. You know, no one's in your shoes. No one can tell you how to mother. Number one, we're all different. I mean, we know instinctively what we're supposed to be doing. And, you know, I think that people are so reliant on Google or opinions, and opinions are like everyone knows, right? Yeah. So be yourself, be a good mom. You know, I had 3 kids. Lean on your support system. If it's not family, blood does not have to be family.
How do you lean on your support though? You know, some people, they like, you make it seem easy, right?
It's
or you
not
make
easy.
It sound easy.
It's not, you know, it's hard to lean on support and, you know, not really ask for help. Help can just be simply as just being around people, right? If, you know, whether you get involved in a church, if you have faith, or get involved in, you know, just a group of people. I mean, nowadays there are many places to be able to go out and, you know, be able to have a group of those. Back when I was a young mom, we didn't have the internet like this. I don't think MySpace was even out yet.
What's something?
So
not MySpace. That's crazy.
It's really just, you know, just looking for what you can find. And, you know, and some people don't want it either, and that's okay. Like, no one's perfect. Like, there's no book to life. Yes, there's the Bible. You know, we are Christians. There is the book to the Bible. But even the Bible doesn't give all the answers, right? So you have to still be authentic in your life, know what you want, and just go for it. I posted it the other day, you know, as being a leader and wanting the best of people, it was the price of staying where you are. You know, can you imagine the price of if you actually tried to get there? Yeah. You know, or it can go either way. So you can either stay where you are, or you can take a risk, fail. Right. And if you fail, guess what? You tried, right?
And that's
so.
It's
don't
weird
be afraid to fail.
It's weird you say that, because even now I'm in my head. I've done these interviews so much that I'm like programmed to get up right now and check, and I'm going to check. Yeah. Because I've done interviews where the camera wasn't rolling. This wasn't working. This wasn't doing this. Yeah. It's like you try to be so perfect. Yeah. You're never going to be perfect.
But that's just like even girls nowadays. You know, my 8-year-old. She said, I packed all healthy snacks. Yeah. And I'm like, why?
Yeah. I mean,
why did you pack all healthy snacks, right? Where did you see that? Who said that? So there's these stigmas out there that we're just supposed to be these people. And I mean that with all sincerity out there. And it doesn't make sense anymore. So I try to teach my kids, be yourself, be authentic. And just do you, but do the right thing. And if it doesn't feel right, don't do it.
That's actually real stuff. That's deep.
You don't need to ask somebody. And I always say, even like in my corporate role, if you feel before you leave the house that you shouldn't be wearing that outfit to work, it probably shouldn't be wearing it, right? Exactly. Something as simple as that. And it's just the mindset of, don't ever second guess yourself. So for example, when I had my real estate license years ago, I've helped many people study for their real estate license. It's a very hard test to take. And I learned, I did once, and then when I did it again, the first time I always was second guessing that question. Yeah. Your first instinct is always normally going to be right. 99 point something percent of the time, right?
Yeah, it's up
like
there.
Just go with your first instinct. And life is not a competition.
No.
So if you're out there and you're envious of other people, stop. Or there's therapists. I went to therapy today, right? I am not an envious person. I'm not in competition with anybody.
I do want to ask. So we kind of you graduated, of course.
Actually, I got my GED.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
So how do you feel about like that whole like situation? Do you feel like you have to go, like, how they say if you didn't graduate?
I feel like it is and I did college, and then I got my real estate license.
Where'd you go to college at?
I went to the University of Maine.
Okay. So you were staying
and then
home.
I did online a few semesters, nothing crazy. But I started like really thinking into it when I was a young mom, and I always had jobs. So I always worked. I always, whether I bartended or waitress, or was in sales. So right out of high school, I actually worked at MBNA. Which was a credit card company back then, and then Bank of America bought it. But I was selling balance transfers. So,
Wow.
way back to then, I had a successful career. But I remember specifically being a young mom.
Hey, that's
and
that alarm. That's the time thing going on.
Yeah, I have to remind myself, because if not, I forget. Yeah. Being a young mom and just remembering that I got to, and I get to, and I always say that. So, and I'll get into that in a second. I didn't have to be on state insurance. That was such an accomplishment for me, being a young mother at 18 years old. I had 2 kids at that time.
Wow, 18?
18. And I had 2 kids, and I was able to not be on state insurance and not have food stamps, right? And I've had them, so I'm not embarrassed to talk about it. So,
but just still, you being able to do it, yeah.
So, and like I say, just having that mindset, and I know everybody in the back of their head, if they're feeling like they can't be successful, it's there. Like, it's just make that move, reach out to somebody, reach out to me, find my Facebook. We're doing a women's event tonight at Talucci's Bakery with the Chamber, and it's so amazing to be around so many powerful women that, decided to take that, outside of the box and say, I'm not afraid to fail.
Yep. Or stand on who you are.
And stand on who, yeah, exactly.
like,
And there's so much to that. And I just love that the women group, even in general and even outside of this one, that we all have, or maybe some don't, but a lot of us have husbands that are so supportive of us being so alpha female, and they don't feel like it's a threat.
No,
and that's so great, because that could be another thing. And I've been in abusive relationships, and I have been with people that abuse me physically, mentally. And I think sometimes that if you're in that, run as fast as you can, or get therapy, get some help, find it, because those are the ones that are going to hold you back. As if you have that in the back of your head, and, being a young mom and going through all the things that I went through. I lost my brother in 2016 in a motorcycle accident. And I just lost my other brother to an overdose. So, there's so many things that, even being in this entrepreneurship, corporate leader, mother of 8, I have 5 goats, 20 chickens, 3 turkeys, I have all this, farm. I still have life. Life hits me hard, but I have to get up every day and keep going.
Right.
And that is one of the hardest things that I can say for anybody in life. Life is not easy. And the hardest part that I see, that the illusion is on social media, life is perfect. And
well, that's what
not.
People go on social media for, is to be that.
Yeah.
They want to show what is perfect about them. There's no like negative side about it. Nobody's just going to go on thing and be like, yeah, I just lied to this person like 4 times, but today's Friday. Happy Friday. It's like impossible. So that's what social media has done. But I do want to dig, because I know your time is very limited. Corporate.
Yes.
How'd you get into the side of that? Or was that because you said you did credit card stuff,
So I worked at MBNA out of high school, or after I got my, I think I was getting my GED at that time. And then I worked for Spectrum, which was Time Warner Cable back then, door-to-door sales.
Wow, so you were the OG Time Warner Cable. That was like the best time.
So I did door-to-door sales for years.
How'd that go? Did you like it?
Good. I think it taught me so much.
Yeah.
I've always been I guess, a hustler in my own way. You know, even the kids, it's funny because the older kids always say to the younger kids, you have no idea what it's like to eat ramen noodles, right?
Yeah,
so they always have these talks at, you know, Thanksgiving or Christmas, and they'll say, you've never been to the food bank before. Right. I mean, we would stand in line at the food bank on Fridays. They used to have food bank, and I would go there and we would get our box and we would go through the line and pick what we wanted. That was our highlight. So my kids, which is my three oldest, Brooklyn, Braden, and Gavin, they remember specifically being like, hey, it's food bank day.
Whoa,
like
that's
we would
good.
jump in the car, and that's like that is
Yeah.
it. Like they're excited to see what kind of cereal they have, what bread they have, right? So imagine me then and why I am so grateful for now.
Right. And how do you humble yourself though?
I give back as much as I can.
Yeah.
I mean, I love giving back to DD2. I love our school districts. Nothing against private school. And everybody's asked me that question. I had somebody come into the bakery and say, I know somebody if you want to put your kids in private school. And I said, well, I don't need anybody to know, but I don't have any interest in that. Yeah. And I'll tell you why.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I feel, and this is my opinion, if my kids don't know what struggle is or can see the actual real world, how am I helping them when I'm not here anymore?
That's simple as that. I mean, you can't.
Things happen. So I feel that private school, yes, you pay for it. Do you get a better education? I'm not so sure about that. Yeah. I think that how many entrepreneurs come out and actually are able to have a successful business?
I'm just saying. So, that's why, hey, listen, I'm here for the ride.
And I'm nothing against anybody with private school.
No,
that's
but it's
just
real.
something that I feel that when I talk to the principals and I talk to the teachers, how many times that I've had conversations and I feel that they are underappreciated. Yeah. I couldn't imagine dealing with my own children that much, at a school, homeschooling them, right? Yeah. And even homeschooling, I couldn't do that because I'm still protecting them from something. Yeah. Everyone's like, the world is so bad. It's getting worse. Nope. Social media has allowed us to see more than we've ever seen. Yep. The world has always been the same.
As fast as we can see it there.
Correct. So, and another thing, like I'm in the travel industry. People travel more now because they're able to physically see it on social media. Yeah. They've never seen it before. We used to have a globe that we spun and said, oh, there's Africa or there's Iceland.
I wonder how Oregon is up here.
Yeah, I've been to Iceland 3 times because I saw how beautiful it was, right? I would have never been there. I love it. How's the traveling
been for you? Not just Iceland, but like since you've been able to do what you do. Do you feel like traveling has been more enhanced? Like, because I'm bringing in traveling in a different way, like this conversation. Yeah. But for me, it's like I go travel and I barely have money. Like, so do you think now that you're kind of in a successful spot, has the traveling and the trips been more well worth it than back then?
For sure.
You see what I mean, though?
For sure. Like, so one of my big things is that we adopt a family for Christmas now. We do not have Christmas, as in we don't have Christmas with presents. I believe, again, we're Christians. It's Jesus's birthday. We don't give presents. We help people. Right. We don't give presents to each other. So what we do is we give the gift of travel every year. So we leave on Christmas night. We fly up to JFK. We spend the night there. We go see Rockefeller Center. We do all the Christmas stuff, and then we fly over to Italy. Wow. And we spend an entire week there. My kids absolutely love Florence. So that goes back to Talucci's Bakery, where the ideas come from. It's always funny because when people come into the bakery, they're like, my bakery in New York, my bakery in New Jersey. Yeah, and I'm like, this bakery's from Florence, They're like, Florence, South Carolina. I'm like, no. Italy. Like, where else? Where is there a bakery? As many times I've been in New York City that looks like Talucci's.
That is true.
There isn't, right?
Yeah. No, you're right.
So I spent a lot of time, and thank God for my husband, because I do not know how to bake at all, right? But I do have a mind, and when I visionary things, I'm so lucky that God gave me the mind that I have, because I can stand in a room and I can see it before it's there. Yeah. So, that's another thing when you come into the bakery is that, a lot of that, I'm like, yes, we need to put this up there and this there. I'm like, just listen, I promise it will all come together, right? And everything at the end, if you walk in, I wanted a place, and these are strategic things that came into my mind. So when you go back in there again, you'll think about this. Right. Being in corporate, I wanted a place that people could come and get away from their work. So if you see what I did, I put strips so people can come in with their laptop and plug in. Okay. I put quietness in the back.
Yeah,
so if they wanted to do there, right?
Yeah.
So I thought about
that middle part, right?
Yeah, I thought about all these things, and I said, what do I and what makes me feel better on corporate burnout? Because being in corporate is a different realm, and entrepreneurship is burnout too. But having that pressure of somebody above you that you have to, make sure that your sales are met and all of that, you get that feeling of, I just need somewhere to go relax. Right. So I even have tons of people, and I love sitting there and listening and saying, I'm going to come back here with all my meetings. Right. And it's just like, yes, I did it. And I did it not for me. I did it for others.
But you also it's so crazy to think that you're here, because I've been waiting to talk about a lot of this stuff. But just I honestly think you picked the best spot.
Yeah.
Like, just being honest.
Yeah.
Like, Somerville, the Hutchinson Square is such a, like, monumental area that, like, you just came in and just took the spotlight. And it's match perfect, you know?
Yeah.
And that's me, you know? Because, like, you can go to, like, Starbucks and all these places and stuff. But I feel like you enhanced it to be, like, multiple different things. And it's not just, like, a workplace. It's also, like, a coffee. Y'all do coffee, too, right?
Yeah. So we import everything. All of our flour, coffee, everything. And it's funny because when I went to Venice last Christmas, I saw this coffee machine when I was there. And I could not get it ordered through the United States. Wow. So I had to order it and I had to wait for it. And then they had to bring it on an engine hoist. So it was really funny the way that it worked out. But it's an amazing coffee machine. It has Bluetooth technology. And I was like, this is awesome because coffee is such or espresso per se is so in depth, and you have to make sure it's brewed for the same amount of seconds, the water pressure, everything, the water heat. So when I got this coffee machine, it was like I can teach people without having to go into that depth. So I did that investment to make sure the coffee was the best. Smart. But we do order coffee. It's from Florence. We get that from Ditta, and I order about 500 pounds a month, and they're the most phenomenal folks to work with over in Italy. I
give you I know we haven't dug a little, like, I do want to talk a little bit about Talucci's Bakery, but, like, I've been kind of saving it for the next one because the next one we can actually just sit and talk about the whole thing. You know, I want people to get to know you guys more. You know, I know your husband isn't here, but next one maybe have him on too and kind of just really talk about things like deeper. So I do want to talk, how did Talucci's Bakery come about, like the name? Obviously from
it's my husband's last name.
So how did that, like, was that like an easy 1-2 punch, or was it?
It was actually funny, and Charles will say this because it was not going to be an Italian bakery.
Wow, what was it going to be?
Just a bakery.
Oh, so you were just gonna? Oh,
I wasn't. So I was like, no, it needs to be an Italian authentic bakery.
Wow,
you know, and we kind of went back and forth on it, and then we went over to Italy, and, you know, we said, that's what it needs to be.
Holy cow.
So it needs to be somewhere where you walk into and you're like, wow, I've never seen anything like this. And that's really what we were striving for. And Chef Charles, my husband, he's very much, I want to make sure that everything's made from scratch. It's fresh daily. And, you know, and he's very big on that. So you'll hear a lot of people that walk by, we're opening the door and just giving them the leftover bread or, you know, we're donating to the fire stations or to the police. And another thing we do is we give dollar coffees to all of the EMTs and the fire department and the police station.
Definitely need to advertise that more. That's awesome for you guys. I was going to say, what's like the popular like item, or, you know, just what's something that sells out for you guys the most?
Our lobster tails.
Yeah.
Lobster tails are going to be like a very thin dough that has hundreds of layers, or 50 layers. Like I said, I don't bake, but it has lots of layers. And it is going to be stuffed with like a pistachio cream or a Nutella. We do Dubai chocolate. We do pistachio strawberry. I mean, it's just one of our best selling items.
Like, y'all's menu is insane. I had the pesto pizza, and I was
the pinzas. Yes, that's something that's phenomenal.
I was like, I got to go back. So I've been trying to go back, but I've been so locked in doing what we're doing. But I was going to say, what's your social media real quick?
Our social media is on Facebook, Talucci's Bakery, and on Instagram is Talucci's Bakery. Yeah. So there's not many other.
Y'all like social media? Like
so I do all the marketing for the social media side of it. For the Instagram and for the Facebook and for our TikTok. So TikTok's going to be the same. We're getting a little bit bigger on TikTok. But so I do all that.
Internet is so toxic though.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I try to do it for purposes, and it's funny, and I love the husbands that come in and they're like, my wife sent me this picture. So they'll go on to like the Facebook or the Instagram, and they take a screenshot and they send it to the husband, and like, my wife sent me in here to get this.
Yeah,
I'm like, you're such a great husband, you know? Right. So it's so neat when I see that, because, you know, me and Charles will sit there and we'll say, wow, we like did this. Like we did it.
And right. There's a lot more.
Even if,
like,
you know,
things you can do though. Like, I feel like y'all.
Well, we're opening a bread store.
Well, I feel like y'all just scratched the surface though.
Yeah, we're opening a bread store on 139 North Main Street. So that's the old Simmons Barbershop. And then we are also opening a high-end European tea room upstairs.
Wow. Is there dates for these set, or are you just
so we're trying to get the because we have we have an oven that's been on back order for quite some time that we really can't start the bread store until Charles has this oven that he wants, and like that's the oven he's
I
getting.
need this
so
oven.
that's the oven, and like so
My
it's been on
bad.
back order, and so we're just kind of waiting for that right now. And I'm just trying to finish up the rest, and then we're going to be the European room. I would like to have that open. I say by like November.
Yeah.
That's going to be more of a tea time. So actually in tea time. So you'll have like your breakfast, then your brunch, and then your actual like lunch tea times. And then that way you can call and, do it. But I've been collecting a lot of European styled furniture, and it will be a very, very unique look.
So
something
excited.
that you've never seen before.
I'm so excited because
Yeah.
y'all already making noise. So I can imagine the noise you're going to make when this happens. And then like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like, do you guys want
I see ourselves just studying out. I never want to get too big that I lose my locals.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to be bigger than when I walk in, I don't know your name.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to be like, hey, how are you? I want to recognize faces. I don't ever want to forget where we came from. But that was never the plan. The plan was to stay local to Somerville. That's what we plan on doing. Do I feel that maybe we'll expand? I don't think so. But I do have in some work, some boutique hotels down in Charleston that want our baked goods. So
Wow.
maybe some wholesale side.
Yeah, definitely wholesale
kind of
side.
looking into that. And that's where the bread store is going to come into play because we'll have bigger production over there too. So, that's one thing I want to do is I'd rather offer our product. And this is where my mindset is, where I want everybody to win. Yeah. And if we can offer a product somewhere and that boutique hotel, someone stays there because they know they have our treats or they eat there, like that's helping somebody else be successful.
Right.
I don't need to like move in more locations. We did just get cleared by the FDA about 2 months ago for shipping. So we will start shipping our cookies nationwide. So that is something I did have a Zoom call this morning. Yep. So I am working with a new website developer because I kind of did mine myself and I said, nope, I need to go to the next level.
Yeah.
But I don't have a lot of time to do that. So I did hire somebody to do that. So
do we ever have time?
Yeah. So that will be the next thing is our shipping. Yeah.
Man, I'm already ready for the next one. Like I know your time is limited. That's kind of why that's not my the performance wise, but I just want to ask so many more questions and I really hope you enjoyed this.
Yes, I did.
Is there anything else you want to tell anybody before we go?
No, just be true to yourself and don't be afraid to fail.
Yep. And oh God, I wish I could ask you some more questions, but like I'm a big firm believer on what I tell you in leading up to this. I'm like, we can't rush anything.
No, absolutely not.
You can't rush the process.
You don't want to rush anything.
No.
And that's kind of like me. We're supposed to be opening on Friday and Saturday nights, but I just want to make sure that we have the correct people to do that.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it's been lovely.
Yes.
Interview 130.
Thank you.
Talucci's Bakery, and
Yes.
I couldn't be more excited for the next one. Remember, guys, stay true to yourself. The only way to achieve your dreams is through you. No one else is going to do it. You got to get up every single day and grind harder than me. The whole Somerville, I can't emphasize, like, I'm really actually shocked you came. I'm not going to lie. I've been ready to get you on this for so long because the first one is always good, right?
Yes.
That second one is going to be something special.
Yes.
And we get to actually just dig into it.
Yes.
Because like I said, I'm a big, firm believer on that, you know, so.
Yes.
Love you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe down below.
Yes.
You know what's up, guys. Stay tuned for the next interview. Peace.
Bye.